The risk of a major winter storm continues to increase, and the polar vortex is going to make an appearance across the lower 48 as we move into the new month of December. So welcome back, everyone. Hopefully everyone's having a wonderful weekend out there so far. Today is Saturday, November 22nd, 2025. This is your evening update. My name is Hunter, and we're going to be covering Canada, the United States, and the tropics during tropical weather season in my videos. So if you are not a subscriber, make sure to subscribe to the channel below. You can also get quick weather updates rapid fire on Facebook. I started a Facebook page a few days ago. You can follow me there for more weather information that is quick and informative. Also, like this video if you love it. Give it a like, a thumbs up, share it, hype it. I definitely appreciate it. So let's get to the forecast here and look at the overall 31 days of December. And man, does it look cold across North America. And a large reason for this is the polar vortex is becoming unstable, and this is likely going to release a lot of Arctic, even Siberian air into the lower 48 as we go throughout the month of December. Sure, there could be some mild days in the mix here, but a lot of the lower 48 is likely going to be bending below normal with our temperatures. Why does this look familiar to 2013 is because it really does. Looking back at the month of December in 2013, it was a little bit colder up in Canada, but very similar. Here's this year's outlook. There's 2013. I mean, that is pretty similar. And what's reasonably accurate too is that the southeast ridge actually appeared in 2013 as well as likely this year is going to happen. So a very reminiscent December of 2013 could be unfolding this year, which is very intriguing. But let's look here at the short-term weather forecast here over the next few days. We have a cutoff low pressure system down here across portions of the Baja of California and northwestern Mexico. That's going to be starting to slide eastward, or should I say crawl eastward, as we go through the rest of the weekend. It's not like it's going to be moving that fast, and that means that's trouble for Texas because that's going to be producing a lot of moisture, and unfortunately in the same areas that we have saturated soil already, that we saw 6 to 12 inches of rain in Texas and even flash flood emergencies a few days ago. More moisture is on the way. So looking at the moisture currently this evening, it's moving across northwestern Mexico up there into Arizona. So the Phoenix area could potentially be seeing some rain showers the rest of this evening, becoming more widespread and heavy there across the Phoenix area, stretching up into Tucson and Flagstaff as we go into overnight. And then some of that moisture moving into western New Mexico. And as it does so, the mountainous areas here could start to lead to potentially a few snow showers, so don't be surprised if you go up in elevation to see some snow. That'll be spreading into Colorado as we go into Sunday. West Texas Sunday, we're going to start to see moisture. Amarillo, Lubbock, Midland, we're going to start to see that as we go into Sunday afternoon. And then Sunday night into Monday, this is where the heavy rain setup will be again for North Texas, southeastern Oklahoma, getting up into the Razorback state of Arkansas. And I do feel that this is going to be in a similar area that we just saw a couple of days ago. So saturated soil, more heavy rainfall. There is a potential for more flash flooding here, and there also is a chance for some severe weather. The Storm Prediction Center has a marginal risk of severe storms and an isolated coverage across southwest and central Texas as we go into the day tomorrow. And then going into Monday, it lifts a little bit further east, and we see more of a slight risk upgrade in yellow across southern Arkansas, northwestern Louisiana, getting into east central Texas here. This is mainly going to be I-35 on eastbound, and also watching I-10 down here as well as we go into Monday. Now, we did mention the fact that we could be seeing some very heavy rainfall, and again, this is oversaturated soil, so I do feel that we could be seeing a good 3 to 5 inches of rain on top of the 6 to 10 we just saw a couple of days ago. And if you put all those numbers together, those are some double-digit totals in quite a few areas. So the Weather Prediction Center has a reasonably good agreement here for a slight risk of flash flooding as well across West and North Texas, across the the Red River Valley into southern Oklahoma as we go into Sunday afternoon, and then more of Northeast Texas up into the Little Rock area and Memphis as we go into Monday afternoon. So that is the key that we're watching the next couple of days: severe weather and the potential for heavy rain, flash flooding. Snowfall, while we could see some snow across the mountainous areas of the Continental Divide, we don't really see a lot of snow. And the reason being is because the lower 48 is just simply too warm right now. And that goes through Tuesday morning on November 25th, the main snow track. And even that is minimal across Canada. Let's look at those temperatures. This is a big reason why we don't see a lot of the snow. We're seeing liquid precipitation, the rain, because our temperatures are just simply too warm. So tomorrow afternoon, more well above normal temperature anomalies. You look up here to the Dakotas, Montana, Wyoming, Minnesota. Those areas are going to be 25, 30 degrees above normal with our temperatures. That won't get the job done with the snow. Early next week, going to be trending warm, especially east of the Rockies. And then we start to see the colder air oozing southward. So western Canada, and then getting into the western third of the country as we go through early next week, the colder air will be coming down. It won't be Arctic air quite yet, but it will certainly be colder. And then we start to see a change in our temperature pattern late November as that first system moves through midweek. We're going to have a punch of cold air here. Again, maybe not true Arctic air, but colder air than we've been seeing. And then that second system coming up is going to bring some warm air advection northward, perhaps as far north as Lake Michigan and the southern Great Lakes. And then that would bring in some Arctic air on the backside. That would be our first wave of true Arctic air to filter in by next weekend, about a week from today. So let's look here at the pattern change. And it's going to be coming in a cold fashion, right? You can see the connection all the way up here with the blue from portions of the Great Lakes, upper Midwest, all the way back through Canada and into the Arctic. And then we have ridging building over the top here into Alaska and the Bering Strait, and that is going to lead to the cold air being dislodged southbound, and south of there is the United States. So that's what we're looking at. Very active weather pattern as we go to the end of the month for Thanksgiving week here, especially post-Thanksgiving. We're watching the potential for a major winter storm unfolding across the central United States. And look at the dip in the jet stream, folks. This is your 500 millibar wind in your jet stream. Notice the big dip in the west. That signifies a major storm system, and that could actually bring down a lot of Arctic air on its backside. So kind of a classic winter storm, if you will, getting into the last few days of November. Now let's look at the first system here. We got the heavy rain early this week. That's going to move through. Notice a lot of areas from the Great Lakes to the Gulf Coast will primarily be in the green, and that's rain. The blue is the snow. We could have some snowflakes on the backside of that system here into the Dakotas, Minnesota, northwest Wisconsin. Monday, Tuesday, or into Wednesday morning, but a lot of this will be light snowfall. I don't expect a major snowstorm out of this. Moving into southeastern Canada, so our friends to the north in Canada, Ontario, Quebec, we'll start to see those snowflakes flying later this week and towards Thursday. For Thanksgiving Day, we're watching more energy moving into the Pacific Northwest. Got to watch for travel plans up there toward Washington, Oregon, Idaho, and Montana. Otherwise, strong high pressure, 1028, 1030 high pressure, going to keep us cold, but dry across the middle of the country for Thanksgiving. Also watching New England and Great Lakes region here for some lake effect snow or just some snow showers in general for Thanksgiving travel over there. Otherwise, the southern tier of the U.S. should be milder and dry for Thanksgiving. But here comes that second system. This one's the more potent one that has that big dip in the jet stream that we showed you. Look at all the blue on here, folks. This is where we could have a snowstorm. Still some uncertainty on the exact placement and access of heavy snow, but there could be a major storm here, and it could, bring a lot of moisture to the central and eastern 2/3 of the United States here, and we look potentially at the snow track. Again, this is the ensemble mean, and this is giving you an idea of where the snow could be falling. Could it be a little bit farther south or north than this? Definitely a possibility. And then you can look at the heavy rain side. And again, this could be further north or south as well, but very similar areas seeing very heavy rainfall, potentially more flash flooding from northeast Texas through Arkansas, getting up into the mid-Mississippi Valley, perhaps the southern Ohio Valley as well. This takes us through Monday, December 1st. And if we look here at my graphic, that is, again, this is why you should follow me on Facebook, because these awesome informative graphics are going to be posted there. And with quick weather updates, you can see the graphic I posted the other day in the blue, that's where the snowstorm was be possible. Ice storm possible in a narrow swath there from the southern Rockies to the Ohio Valley, Central Plains region there from November 29th through the December 4th timeframe. The updated graphic I have for you today with a little bit more information coming in, snow still possible there to the north in the lighter blue, in the medium blue there. That's where snow is becoming a little bit more likely of a signal. Now, this could start to still shift around again north-south. Notice the tight gradient there between the medium blue there, the light blue, and then the pink, which is an ice storm possible, again in similar areas to yesterday. We'll be keeping a very close eye on these trends over the next few days, but again, follow me on Facebook for more information there. But now we go to the stratosphere, right? Take a trip up into the altitude, into the stratosphere, and wow, we are seeing a major sudden stratospheric warming event taking place. And this happened last time in 2021. If you remember how cold that sudden stratospheric warming event did lead to cold air in the US, well, this could be a similar setup, I do feel. And we're going to see these waves of Arctic Siberian air coming in bunches, right? It's not going to come all in one shot and then be gone. So our first wave of opportunity for that Arctic Siberian air would be behind our first system. That one's more of a glancing blow across the upper Midwest and Great Lakes. A much more significant bunch of cold air that could dive a little bit further south would be that post-Thanksgiving winter storm we were just talking about. That could come in around the 29th, 30th, and then December 1st. And then we see a little bit of a rebound and then potentially another stronger push once we get into that first final few days of the first week of December. Now that one could go all the way, one-way ticket to Texas and Mexico. That one could be a much colder one setting up for early December. So what am I saying? I think it's going to be a cold December, folks. It does look to be a setup for that. I think the first week of December here looks pretty cold across the lower 48. You can't convince me otherwise. It looks like a cold setup. As we go into the second week of December, I still feel it's cold, but a moderating cold trend behind our first major wave. And then as we go into the third week of December before Christmas, again, you can't convince me this isn't a cold look. I mean, this even looks more potent than what we see in early December. This would be attached to our sudden stratospheric warming event that is occurring late November. This is about a 1 to 2 week lag time, and that would be perfect timing by the third week in December to see that cold air from the stratosphere making its way down to the troposphere and actually impacting our weather locally here in the United States. Now, as we get towards Christmas, does it stay cold? Does it warm up? That is the big question mark at this point. I can't really say it's a 50-50 shot at this point, but what I can say is that typically with a major sudden stratospheric warming event, eventually when you get these really big extremes between warm and cold, you get these rebounds here and the buckles in our temperature really starts to rebound and spike. So when does that occur? Does that occur during Christmas? Does that occur in, the new year in early January? I don't really know right now, but we will see that eventually at some point once the colder air and Siberian air does retreat. Now, with the colder air in place, you could probably think, if you have precipitation, you got cold air, well, you're going to get some snow. And I do feel it does look like a snowy December. So a lot of cold and snow weather lovers out there are going to be happy with us this December because the West, the mountains, ski resorts out there, the watershed out west there into the Sierra is going to be plentiful snow. The northern areas, including the heavy lake effect snow we saw so far in November, we're going to continue to see that as we go into December. New England going to be cashing in as well. But don't be discouraged further south. It will take more time, but I do feel each successive Arctic outbreak that comes into the U.S. will push that storm track further south. So don't give up hope in Texas, Tennessee, the Carolinas, especially North Carolina, Arkansas, Virginia, for a white Christmas. It still is possible this year. It's just going to need some help from the polar vortex, and I feel that could happen as we go into late December. That is all the weather talk and weather forecast that I have for you on this evening update. Again, subscribe to the YouTube channel. That's the best way to watch my videos and live streams in the future. We cover Canada, the United States, and the tropics. So make sure to subscribe to the YouTube channel. Like the video, give it a thumbs up. The the more likes we get, the more people that the information gets to. So I appreciate that. Sharing it as well helps, and hyping my video. Also, again, follow me on Facebook for more rapid fire, quick weather updates that are pretty informative on there as well and straight to the point. So follow me on Facebook. That link will be in the description down below the video and also pinned to the top of the comment section below the video. Thank you all for watching, and I hope everyone has a wonderful and safe rest of their Saturday out there.